Welcome to CinePro, where we bring your favorite movies back to life with quick recaps, hidden details, and everything you missed. The movie begins with Elvira, an 18-year-old girl who dreams of marrying Prince Julian, rich, handsome, and everything she is not. She's neither wealthy nor beautiful. After her father's death, her mother, Rebecca, is forced to find a new husband to save their family. They move to a new kingdom, where they are welcomed by a nobleman named Otto and his stunning daughter, Agnes. From the moment they meet, Elvira is mesmerized by Agnes's beauty. Instead of feeling envy, she admires her. Agnes warmly gives her a tour of their mansion and introduces her to Isaac, the horsekeeper. Elvira's room feels like something out of a dream. Gorgeous dresses, sparkling jewels, and a breathtaking view. Soon after, Otto and Rebecca marry, but during the wedding banquet, something horrifying happens. Otto suddenly clutches his chest, spits blood, and collapses dead on the table. The room freezes. Agnes falls into a deep depression, locking herself away and refusing to see anyone except Elvira. Despite not being known for her looks, Elvira has something else: kindness. She brings Agnes a cup of chocolate and tries to comfort her. But when she shares her own story of loss, Agnes explodes in anger. Furious, she tells Elvira the cold truth. If it weren't for Rebecca's money, they would never have been allowed into their lives. Stunned, Elvira realizes everything was a lie. She runs to warn her mother that Otto's family has no money, but it's too late. Their land is gone, and Rebecca breaks down, realizing no wealthy man will want a poor widow with 2 daughters. Elvira offers to marry someone, anyone, but her mother reminds her she's not pretty enough, and Alma, her younger sister, is still just a child. Elvira looks in the mirror and faces the painful truth. She's not beautiful, and in this world, that means everything. Meanwhile, Agnes breaks down in front of her late mother's portrait, begging not to be left alone. Just then, a white dove lands on her window, a sign of hope. But then everything changes. An invitation arrives from the castle. The king and Prince Julian are hosting a grand ball for all noble virgin girls, and both Agnes and Elvira are invited. The race is on. 2 girls, 1 prince, only 1 crown. Desperate, Rebecca hires a shady doctor to transform Elvira. The first step, remove her braces. It's quick and simple, and the result is instant. Elvira already looks better, but not enough. Next comes her nose. Rebecca picks a shape from a brochure, model number 7. The doctor nods and with cold precision snaps the bone in Elvira's nose. Her screams echo through the room, but no one cares except little Alma, who watches in horror. To heal, Elvira must wear a strange, disfiguring device over her face. But the transformation doesn't end there. Both girls are sent to the finest etiquette school in the kingdom, where they will learn to behave like true noblewomen. Soon, they'll face their biggest test yet. At the prince's ball, there will be a royal dance. The 2 best students will take the lead roles, putting them center stage in front of the prince and every powerful man in the kingdom. For Elvira and Agnes, this could change everything. Elvira quickly realizes things won't be easy. On the very first day of class, all the girls are asked to line up. Elvira takes a spot in the front row, but the teacher scans her from head to toe, frowns at the strange device on her nose, and orders her to the back. She's placed alongside the girls considered unattractive. From there, Elvira watches helplessly as Agnes, with her effortless beauty, remains in the spotlight, receiving smiles, praise, and attention. Back at home, things get worse. Rebecca forces Elvira onto a brutal diet, nothing but lemon water. The worst part is Elvira isn't even overweight. While the other girls dine on fine meals, Elvira obediently sips her sour water without complaint. Meanwhile, Agnes, still grieving her father's death, tells Rebecca she wants to organize his funeral, but Rebecca coldly refuses. The funeral can wait, at least until after the royal ball. Once Elvira marries the prince, then they can mourn. Agnes is horrified. Her father's body is literally rotting while money is being spent on dresses and surgeries. Rebecca even has the audacity to ask for Agnes's dresses for Elvira and Alma to wear. Fuming, Agnes storms off and locks herself in the room where her father's body lies. As she approaches, the stench hits her. Flies are already circling him. It's too much. Days pass. Elvira works harder than ever in her classes, hoping to be worthy of the prince. Then, the list of selected girls is posted. Many names are crossed out, Elvira doesn't expect much, but to her surprise, her name is there. Barely. It's the very last one. During a class, Elvira finally gets her chance to perform. The teacher admits she's talented, but says it's being wasted because of her looks. She even confesses she never wanted Elvira in the program. Her mother paid to keep her there. Still, the teacher gives her some advice. If she wants to shine, she'll need to work twice as hard. Elvira's journey becomes rockier. She's secretly been sneaking food, so none of the dresses fit. But then, a second teacher, kinder and more understanding, takes notice. She tells Elvira that the prince will love her for who she is. When Elvira breaks down, confessing that no one could ever choose her, the teacher gently tells her she's wrong. She has so much more to offer. Elvira feels ugly and worthless. But the teacher points out something powerful. She's trying to change the outside to reflect the beauty she already carries inside. Kindness, empathy, courage. They deserve to be seen. To help her, the teacher gives her a small gift and says, "What matters is what's inside." Later that day, Alviv goes riding with her sister Elma through the woods. There, she makes Elma promise to keep a secret. Once Elma agrees, Alvira reveals the gift, a tapeworm egg. Her plan, swallow it. That way, she can eat anything she wants without gaining weight. The parasite will absorb the food for her. Alma is horrified. She warns her this could ruin her health. She'll always feel hungry. But Alvira doesn't care. She's convinced this is her only shot at being thin and beautiful. She swears that after marrying the prince, she'll take the antidote. Alma, furious and heartbroken, calls her insane for blindly obeying their mother. She leaves, taking both horses with her, and Alvivara is left alone in the woods. Elsewhere, Agnes finds comfort in Isaac, the stable boy. He's more than just a servant. He's her secret love. But Agnes confesses something painful. She has to marry the prince. Still, she promises Isaac. Her heart belongs only to him. Back in the woods, Alvira keeps her word. She swallows the tapeworm egg. Just then, she hears voices. Men. She hides behind a tree and listens. What she hears makes her skin crawl. They're talking about women like they're property, laughing, objectifying. Then she sees him, Prince Julian. The men hear her and mock her. Prince Julian turns, sees her nose device and sneers. But Elvivara doesn't care. She's already obsessed. The humiliation only fuels her twisted determination. As night falls and she heads home, she passes the stables and hears something strange. Curious and suspicious, Elvivara decides to investigate. To her shock, she catches Agnes with Isaac. Horrified, she runs straight to her mother and spills everything. As punishment, Agnes is harshly scolded and demoted to a lowly servant. Alvivara listens without emotion to Agnes' screams and Isaac's humiliation. She simply doesn't care. 3 full moons pass, and life at the house changes. Alma has developed a deep love for horses. Agnes, now a servant, has accepted her fate. Meanwhile, Elvira finally removes her facial brace, revealing a perfect nose. But with her newfound beauty comes a growing obsession. She begins to value her appearance more than anything else. Unable to stand that Agnes is still more beautiful despite everything, Elvivara chooses to undergo another surgery, this time to implant longer eyelashes. The procedure is horrifying. The doctor sedates her while inhaling some himself, and an eerie nurse with one missing eye raises serious red flags. The method is brutal. Each eyelash is sewn in with a needle, leaving Alvira blindfolded for days. One night, Alviv wakes up ravenous. Her tapeworm is starving. Elma also wakes, but for a different reason. She's had her first period, a sign that she's now a woman. Fearing she'll be forced into marriage like Elvivara, she hides all traces of it. Stumbling through the darkness, Alvivara tears off her bandages and makes her way to the kitchen. The noise wakes Agnes, who finds her in misery. But instead of mocking her, Agnes helps her eat, displaying kindness that Alvira has long forgotten. As the days pass, the teachers grow concerned about Agnes's absence. She was the top choice for the lead role. Desperate, they look for a replacement, but none of the girls fit. That's when they see Elvira. Her new look impresses them and she's chosen for the part. Elvira thinks she finally has it all: the role, the prince, and the freedom to eat without guilt. But her joy is short-lived. One night, she discovers clumps of her hair falling out. Meanwhile, Rebecca presents her with a custom-made dress, something breathtaking. Elvira is mesmerized. They call in Agnes to help her dress, and that's when things take a dark turn. The designer, seeing Agnes as nothing more than a servant, forces a kiss on her while no one intervenes. As Alvivara is fitted into her gown, her falling hair is casually hidden beneath a wig. No one seems concerned. After all, she's expected to dazzle everyone at the ball. That night, no one sleeps. Rebecca pays for the dress with her own body. Elvira gorges herself. Agnes, desperate to attend the ball, tries to retrieve one of her old dresses, but Alvivara catches her, snatches the gown and rips it apart. Rebecca comforts Alvivara and gives her a sedative to help her sleep. Agnes, heartbroken, falls asleep beside her father's decaying corpse, now crawling with worms. But suddenly, her mother's spirit appears. Using those very worms, she magically repairs Agnes's dress and transforms her childhood shoes. She promises that no one will recognize her, but warns that at midnight, the carriage will turn back into a pumpkin. The night of the ball arrives. Elvivara enters, glowing in her new dress and wig, accompanied by Rebecca. During the presentation of the girls, their names, ages, and height are read aloud, but the men care about none of that. They judge them solely by appearance. Their interest is purely physical. When it's Elvivara's turn, Rebecca commands her to act like an obedient little puppy. The headmistress proudly boasts about her transformation. For the first time, Prince Julian shows interest, but it's hard to tell if he's enchanted by Elvivara or just by her prominent assets under the dress. After the presentation, a line of men queues up to dance with her, but the prince steps forward. He wants the first dance. Elvivara is ecstatic. All the girls hope to be chosen, but it's she who caught his eye. The two begin to dance, lost in each other, or so she believes. Suddenly, the doors swing open. A mysterious girl enters, wearing a stunning dress that instantly overshadows Elvivara's. The prince is captivated. Without a second thought, he leaves Elvivara standing alone and invites the stranger to dance. Overwhelmed by rage, jealousy, and sadness, Elvivara begins to feel an unbearable pain, an awful side effect of the parasite egg she ate earlier. The pain gets so intense that she runs to a corner and vomits, only to discover she's now throwing up parasite eggs. Just then, her mother appears. Terrified, Elvivara begs for help, saying she's dying. But Rebecca doesn't care. Instead of comforting her, she fixes Elvivara's makeup, slaps her across the face, and drags her back to the ballroom, forcing her to keep dancing with men. Elvivara obeys, but in her feverish state, she starts hallucinating. She sees parasites everywhere. Amid the chaos, she spots the prince dancing with the mysterious girl and suddenly realizes it's Agnes. But before she can react, the clock strikes midnight. Agnes runs off, and the prince follows her, returning moments later holding a glass slipper. He announces that he'll marry whoever fits the shoe. Devastated, Elvivara cries all the way home, but she refuses to give up. She hunts down Agnes, pulls a knife, and demands the shoe. The two get into a struggle until Rebecca shows up with a man from the ball. Distracted, Agnes lets go of the slipper, and Elvivara snatches it and runs to her mother. But Rebecca doesn't even listen. She coldly tells Elvivara she missed her chance and sends her to bed. As Rebecca flirts with her new suitor, Elvivara desperately tries to force the slipper onto her foot, but her feet are too big. Then she gets a horrifying idea. She puts her foot on the table, takes a deep breath, and slices off her toes. Her screams wake Alma, who rushes in, horrified. Rebecca arrives too, and her date faints at the sight of the blood. Despite everything, Elvivara begs them to finish the job so she can wear the shoe. Rebecca ignores her pleas and sedates her, but then realizes the worst part. Elvivara cut off the toes on the wrong foot. The princess's slipper is for the left foot, not the right. Seeing how far her daughter is willing to go, Rebecca decides to take over. Alma, unable to watch, leaves in protest. Alone with Elvivara, Rebecca finishes the job, cutting off the toes on both feet. In a drugged, dreamlike state, Elvivara imagines the prince arriving, slipping the shoe onto her foot perfectly, and declaring her his bride. But it's all just a fantasy. The next morning, trumpets blare. The prince is truly here. Elvivara, hungry and bandaged, tries to get out of bed but collapses, breaking a tooth. In pain, she crawls toward the entrance. As she throws herself down the stairs, her nose snaps. Miraculously, she makes it to the door, but it's too late. Agnes appears, steps outside, and the prince announces he has found his princess. Everything Elvivara endured her pain was for nothing. Her dreams shatter instantly. Alma finds her broken and realizes enough is enough. They need to leave. But first, she must remove the parasite from Elvivara's stomach. She gives her the antidote, and almost immediately Elvivara starts coughing up blood. Then the parasite begins to emerge. Alma grabs it and pulls with all her strength. It had grown several meters inside her sister. After a brutal struggle, she yanks it out entirely and cuts it in half. Before leaving, Alma collects a few valuable items. While doing so, she finds her mother but doesn't care. She has what she wanted, a man and financial security. Finally, Alma helps Elvivara onto a horse, and the two sisters escape the cursed mansion. As they ride off together, they cling to one last hope, crossing the border before nightfall. And that's the end of this twisted fairy tale. Thanks for watching.